Good evening, everyone. My name is Akash Magoon. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO at Adonis. I started Adonis with my brother, and super excited that you're all here to learn more about revenue cycle and what we're excited about, but more importantly, what January is seeing in the market. So January Taylor, as Logan mentioned, is the executive director of business operations at Commonwealth Pain and Spine, a pretty elite pain group across the southeast of the U.S. And so, January, I was excited about if you could just tell the group about your background and what led you to lead Commonwealth, and then if you could just tell us a little bit more about the scale of the group and how you guys are growing.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Okay. So I started out about 29 years ago in the industry. I'm only 31. Just kidding. I started a medical billing company, and from there, I sold that company. I had it for 17 years, and then I became a consultant for that company. Came across Commonwealth Pain and Spine. They were implementing and bringing billing back in-house. After about 2 weeks on the job, as a consultant, they offered me a position, and I said yes. It's been a fantastic partnership. I'm going on 7 years. We like to grow rapidly. It's one of those you just gotta hold on tight and just hope for the best. We truly do. We've got a great leadership from the top down, and it's just been a great ride. So I'm really excited about this next phase and this different RCM, how it looks. It's revolutionary, and it's honestly, in my career, this is the biggest change I've seen since the requirement of electronic billing. I remember back in the day, we used to handwrite on ledger cards. That's how it would work. And then they introduced electronic billing, and it was like, oh no, what's going on? So this is a great opportunity, because I think for some of us who have been in the industry a long time, this is a new challenge. It truly is. So
yeah, it's almost like you overheard my conversation with James earlier. James, raise your hand. James was just saying that this feels like the next revolution after meaningful use, and very cool to see that you share that view as well.
Absolutely.
Could you just share with the group a little bit more about just Commonwealth as an organization, like the services you offer, how you're structured? I know there's like an MSO component and more of a practice component, and just a little bit about the organization.
So we have 123 providers. I think there's 30 physicians, and the rest are mid-level providers. We have 26 offices across 7 states. Let's see, we have been in business for, I think, 16 years. And we treat pain, we're interventional pain management practice. We're about, I would say, 60-40 between medication management and interventional pain management. And we have some tremendous physicians leading the helm, and a fantastic CEO who has, again, been able to just provide the community with excellent patient care. That's our number one goal. Anything that you do in this industry, patient care has to be your number one focus. And we have stayed true to that mission. All the while building a company and a culture with folks who are dedicated to the same values.
Do you mind describing just like end to end, when you think about the front end of revenue cycle all the way through like AR and denials and cash posting, just the different pieces of how you think about rev cycle and who owns what within the organization, and the different tooling that you're using as well?
That's a loaded question. I've always had the mindset and the approach that you have to revenue cycle. You have to collaborate with front end and clinical operations. Everything that those folks do on the front end impacts you. It truly does, even from the check-in to the collection of an insurance card. It truly impacts you. You can't do your job unless those things are done. So I have been committed and invested a lot of time in the front end clinical ops team. It's the better they are, the easier my job becomes, and that truly is what I've found to be true. we had traditionally, prior to me coming on board, they had outsourced billing. So it really was, you just came in and saw patients and they didn't see any of the reports. They didn't see the metrics. They didn't have people knocking and screaming at them saying you didn't get this right insurance card or you didn't get that prior authorization. They simply saw patients. When you bring that in-house, it's a different dynamic. And again, I think I collaborate with our VP of clinical ops more than I do my kids. I truly do. And we have a great relationship, a great rapport. And really, honestly, it's not just the relationship between clinical ops. You've got finance, you've got HR. I mean, you've got, let's see, lab operations. We're in pain management world, lab and ancillary services are a big component. And those are very highly scrutinized service lines too. So big, huge compliance piece. I know that when you think of pain management, it's been given a bad condensation, but it truly is. We are making people feel better and changing the lives of a lot of folks. And to do that effectively, you truly have to like have compliance at the top. And we've been able to do that so far.
And then on the back end, like part of revenue
Oh,
cycle.
okay. Yeah, this has been we've used our EMR platform, and that's the only tool that we've had up until this point. So it's only been our Athena EMR and practice management system for 7 years. No additional bolt-on technologies, no other softwares, nothing else. And so we got to a point where this is as good as we can get, and actually pretty strong metrics. I mean, we've got a under 27 days in AR, a denial rate of 5%. But any team, any business, honestly, you still want to find ways to be better. My motto in life is to be better today than I was the day before. I have it written on my door when I walk out my garage every day. And so even if it's a clean claim rate of 98% for 2 years in a row, try to get to 99, try to get to 100. And companies like Adonis are allowing us to do that. And this automation and AI implementation, it's a new game, but we've got to elevate our game because the insurance payers sure do.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that revenue cycle is having a moment right now. And it feels like it's gone from a back office function to a strategic growth driver within an organization. How has that changed the way that your management team thinks about scaling your practice as you guys continue to think about doubling in size, and what that means for your team and the people that you hire and how you strategize around acquisitions as well?
Yeah, that's a loaded question there too.
I'm full of them.
You are. Honestly, RCM leaders today, you don't just manage billing workflows. We used to before we could. It's you take a claim, you bill it, you follow up on it, end of story. That doesn't work in today's industry. You truly have to be cross-functional. You've got to collaborate with all aspects of your business, your organization, and even down to referring offices, right? I mean, not every referral is a great referral. And sometimes when you have to turn those away, it's okay to take the time to explain to a referring office why that is the case. And especially in pain management, we've have a lot of criteria that we filter through in terms of the patient referral. So there's so many different aspects of the business, and the RCM team, those processes, you're connected to all of them. You're literally connected to every single one of them. And with this, with a lot of AI adoption, I don't know if you guys have had this, but I've had almost every person on my team come to my office and say, "Am I going to lose my job?" And truly, it is, and it's a challenge.
I'm curious how you answer that question when your employees ask you that.
I say no. I approach this, and this is my mindset. It may be different for different organizations and different specialties, but I look at AI as a accelerator. I truly do. What my team of 10 can do today, in 6 months from now, I want them to be able to handle the volume of a team of 40. That's my goal. I want to see AI adopted across all areas of the organization, from patient access to rev cycle to clinical ops. And and this is a big transition for the patients as well. Patients don't want to talk to AI bots. They really don't. So we can't just flip the switch and turn it on 100% and just jump in, right? So maybe you just introduce this a little slower, right? Maybe if we're going to introduce it on our patient access team, we start with just scheduling those quick appointments, your follow-up appointments, right? Boom, whatever. Or maybe you just answer, hey, your appointment is tomorrow at 2 p.m. and the directions to our office are as follow, and that's it, So just, I think sometimes it's a little challenging right now because upper management is adopt AI, turn on all the automations, and now let's get rid of 10 people. It truly doesn't work that way. For this to be successful, you just can't approach it that way. You've got some great people. I mean, I'm sure that all of you guys do. I've got some great folks on my team who have been with me honestly the entire 7 years. I look at this is allowing me the opportunity to replicate, to clone my best people. And I've said that throughout my career. I've always said, if I could clone you, this would be great. And so I feel like that's the opportunity in front of us today. And I'm not saying it's the best approach. It's our approach, and it's worked so far for us because like when people don't feel comfortable, and I think you alluded to trust. You've got to have trust. You can be transparent to a certain degree. Obviously, you can't just lay everything out there for everyone, but you can. So if your folks trust you, and they believe in you, and you both believe in the missions and the goals of your organization, you'll be successful. So I don't think this is a year I don't think this is a year. I think we're looking at probably a 3 to 5 year where we could probably see AI really adopted, maybe at an 80-90% rate. That's what I'm thinking. But that 60 to 70 over these next 2 years is big, and it's game changer.
Dan had asked Garland a question around looking back at 2025 and the different payer challenges and complexities and surprises that he had within rev cycle from his perspective on the cardiology side. I wonder, when you think about the same question, but on the pain side where you sit, anything you'd share with the group around unique challenges that you had this year?
So I'm never surprised by payers. That's number one. Every day it's something new, and it's a different challenge. I feel like when you, as an organization or as a practice, you've perfected your process or your game. I say that this is a game. I've said that since I was 20 years old, and it's about who plays their cards right. It truly is. And I think once you get to those levels of efficiency, I think payers then have to look for other ways to deny. It's like, yay, we're no longer going to require a prior authorization, which is huge in pain management world. We're no longer going to require that, but no auth required is not no auth required. Now we are going to increase the requests for your medical records. Like that's kind of what we're dealing with. So you always have to be one step above or ahead of the payers. You cannot, honestly, we used to do an annual review of our payer policies. Now you've got to do that a couple times a year. They will change a policy on you midway through the year. And you've got to be proactive about that.
Sounds like a game of whack-a-mole.
Oh, it is. It truly is. But we've gotten pretty good at the game. And now we've, got some some MVPs and stronger players on our team, and some new technology. So I'm looking forward to it.
There's several other groups in the audience that I believe are also on Athena Health. It sounds like you've been a partner to Athena for the last 7 or 8 years. When you zoom out and think about like all the work that you've done with them on the clinical side and the billing side, and now think about what roles you hire for to fill in the gaps, and then how you think about technology that integrate. Where do you see like the EHR like stopping and ending versus like, what you'd want to rely on maybe other innovators within AI to help out and support?
I don't know if there's really an ending on the EHR side, so to speak. I mean, we build workflows and templates and macros and HPI templates and all these things on the clinical side, the EMR side, that makes it easier and more efficient on the rev cycle side. So if I know that a payer or payers, 90% of them, and especially with Medicare, if
Ooh, intimate.
hey, cue up some Marvin Gaye. No, I'm not gonna sing. I promise I'm not gonna sing. I usually break out in song, but I'm not. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You were talking about macros within the
Yes.
clinical side.
So macros, all those things, we create those, and those are created initially by the rev cycle team. So providers want to do what providers want to do, right? Physicians will tell you, well, I want to do this because this is the best thing for the patient. I don't care. They have United Healthcare. They have a payer that says, nope, you can't do that today, or you have to wait 2 more weeks, right? You've got to know all of these rules. Well, we build our clinical, our EMR, our templates and all that, so that we can ensure that we don't get claims paid, or we have everything needed that we know the payer is going to ask for, like this no auth required. Again, I'm stuck on that. I gave an hour-long talk about that. It's medical necessity, frequency limitations, durations. You have to have certain requirements, like you've got to try physical therapy. You can't just say patient had physical therapy. You have to say the patient had physical therapy in 2003 by Dr. So-and-so, and they failed physical therapy. Like, it is that technical, and it varies across all payers. So knowing this information up front, and having all of that, documented appropriately in your charts is really what makes your rev cycle team successful. And it's there at their fingertips. So and all of these processes that we do on the rev cycle side, they're manual, repetitive, time consuming processes. I mean, it truly is. So if we can cut those out, like, think of how impactful that will be for your teams. I mean, we were talking in the roundtable discussion earlier. We literally have people on our teams who do nothing but get the medical record, attach it to the claim, send it back. Like, that's a person to do that. So being able to really automate these things is again going to be game changer. Did I answer your question, or did I dance around it? Because I have a tendency to do that.
Okay. Yeah. When you look forward at 2026 and even probably some of the payer contract negotiations that your team's going through and some of the upcoming payer policy changes, what do you foresee being things that are top of mind for you as we turn into the new year, and where are you hoping to really help your team spend their time and focus on it?
Payer contracting has been a big challenge for us this past year. And it used to be that, well, you're a big player in your specialty, in your area. You've got the leverage. They're going to negotiate. Wrong. That doesn't work that way. We've seen a lot of big hospital systems, large healthcare organizations that have dropped out of network with several payers. So you have to have a plan. It's okay to be out of network. And honestly, in some cases, it's actually more cost efficient. And you just have to do it right, and you have to be equipped with the folks on your team to be able to handle such a transition, because it is an undertaking. But payer contracting has been, and I think is going to continue to be, a challenge. So that's something that you've got to stay focused on. Obviously, again, being able to, you can't just adopt AI in one particular area. You've got to apply it across all areas. And hopefully, I know last time I was here, one of the CFOs said that, they feel strongly that being able to partner with a couple of different organizations like yourself, is where it's going to be at, because there's not going to be one company that does everything right, everything great just yet. Maybe in 5-10 years down the road. So really, like, partnering with the right companies, and companies that honestly are like-minded, forward thinking. They have things on the roadmap, and making sure that they deliver on those things. That's, I think, crucial. So we've kind of broken our practice out into three different, like, areas. And so we've got a technology company focused on patient access. We've got now a technology company focused on RCM. And then we have another company that is focusing more on the clinical intelligence piece, the clinical decision making, actually putting this in your provider's hands. And then, honestly, at the top of the list, we're really trying to stay focused on eliminating those tedious manual processes. So we take that out of the picture, and we can actually, because you've got to have the team members to dedicate to these implementation plans. It's not a flip of the switch. I don't care what company you use. It takes time. And if you do it right, and do it right for your organization, it's really going to set you up for success. So I think my other challenge is getting my upper leadership to understand this, and understand the timeline for implementation, and just being a little patient, and not disrupting the patient experience. You've got to be patient with and understanding with the patients, especially given, like, our population. We've got a lot of older folks, and the last thing they want to do is talk to AI. So maybe 1 out of every 5 calls, right? So we're on the way.
You mentioned your upper management team a few times, and the CEO of your organization. Do you feel like right now in your role, you're getting more pressure to increase the net collection rate by reducing denials, or working more on the cost to collect in terms of the money that you spend to actually collect the revenue in the first place?
I think it's the cost to collect, because obviously when you have new software and technology, initially there's a big investment. It truly is, and you don't really feel the impact, like, immediately. It takes a little bit of time. So being able to show and prove out those ROIs, that takes a little bit of this coercion, I guess.
Yeah. Last question for me, and then would love to open it up to audience. You were one of the winners of the RCM 25 award. You mentioned a few of the big stats that your team tracks when it comes to revenue cycle metrics. I think one of them was a sub 30-day AR timeline, as well as a sub 5% denial rate. That's pretty impressive, especially for pain management, as you mentioned, where there's a lot of prior auth denials and no auth denials, and a lot of clinical issues that payers give. What advice would you have for peers in the room here around, what allowed you to achieve those metrics, and how you plan to sustain that as payers continue to change their goalposts, as we spoke about?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's several different answers to that. One, staff retention is huge and crucial in the RCM world. I mean, if you have a high turnover, that just doesn't work. And we've been able to maintain under 2% turnover, and we have the largest team. And my leaders, you find those folks, those key folks, those folks on your team, in your organization, that are as committed as you are to your success. You grab onto them and you hold on to them. I think that you've got to always be willing to collaborate, and again, with your clinical team, but not just with internally. Collaborate with those externally. I've learned so much over the past 2 or 3 months, having conversations with Kathy and Tennille. I mean, and I feel like we've learned from each other and your team, truly. So I think just reinventing this insurance RCM game. I think it's just been a great collaboration with everybody involved, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Got it. So team retention and collaborate with internal clinical team members and peers externally as well.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much. Please join me in a round of applause for January. We'd like to open up for some questions.
If no questions, we karaoke.
Oh, we have a mic for you.
Oh, sorry.
We have a mic for you.
I have a mic. You made a point earlier that I think folks newly looking to adopt technology really need to focus on or not focus on. And it's the reduction of FTEs being the goal. That should never be your top goal. If it occurs, it's a benefit at the end. But I think if you go in thinking, oh, I'm going to reduce FTE costs, I'm going to reduce costs by slashing my staff, you're not really going to get the best out of your implementations and your workflows that you're developing with AI. And I think it's just it's a common misunderstanding.
Yeah.
That you brought up.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this, and I think you're right. It's a bonus when you get to do that and you're able to do that, but it's not immediate. So, and again, don't let that be your primary goal.
Kathy, January spoke, name dropped you and said that you taught her a few things. I was just wondering if you had anything to add when it comes to orthopedics and pain and spine.
Yeah, hi, thank you. January's great. I just recently met her at Thrive, so we've gotten to know each other. I will definitely agree with Tennille. Cutting your FTEs, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen right away. And for me, adding Adonis to our platform and to our RCM has allowed our company to grow, right? I deal with a C-suite that moves faster than lightning. They bring on doctors, providers so quickly, but having Adonis has allowed me to stay at my status of where we are with FTEs, but continue to grow. Normally we'll bring in a new practice and I'm immediately, I need 5 FTEs and I don't need that now. You know, I can go forward with 2 and I can scale exactly a lot easier.
I will add one of the things that we did. We just this past year used an offshore company to outsource a couple of different areas with the idea and the intent that we were only going to staff at a maximum of 50%, and we only replaced folks that left or were terminated with the offshore team, right? So we've been able to do that in the event that we do find ourselves in this situation where I've got to, reduce my workforce on my billing team, right? Well, if I've got a team of 5 to 7 offshore, it makes it a little bit easier. It truly does. But also it's allowed me to kind of, and I've been opposed to it, but it allowed me to kind of test the waters there. And it's actually worked. It's worked extremely well. And I think we learned a lot from COVID. So we've hired people from all over the states. I mean, we truly do. We have people working from Nevada, I think right now, from Louisville, Kentucky. So it's been a lot of changes over the past couple of years, but I think it's good. I think it's great. It's a new challenge. I'm looking forward to it.
Any other questions? Oh, and I think we have Manoj in the back. And then
good to see you again. I love that you shared the RCM improvement journey is forever, right? We're going to keep working to make sure that we can continue improving. I'm kind of curious, what are your 2026 goals? Like, where do you want to see your RCM and operations and team improve?
I mean, I definitely want to, over the next 3 years, I would love to be able to grow with just the same team. I don't want to add any more headcount, so everybody in finance is happy, and so we don't have to worry about that. My goal by the end of 2026 is to adopt AI or some type of automation across 80% of our organization, and that's not just, I mean, that's clinical ops, patient access, RCM. So that's that's my ultimate goal. And there's some really quick, easy wins. Like we automated the urine drug screen process from the order, decision making, sending it to the providers, review. We've made their jobs a little bit easier, full review. It's actually more, you have the opportunity, I missed this, I should have read my bullet points. You have the opportunity, honestly, to be more compliant than you have in the past. I don't know how you guys approach it, but I mean, eliminating those tedious tasks, like it allows for the more important things. So again, it's becoming more compliant, more efficient. And again, if you find yourselves where you've got to scale down the workforce, I don't think that's going to happen immediately, but you're going to have opportunity. But there also then comes opportunity to repurpose some folks and new opportunities for people. What if someone on the billing team, we've got to reduce there, and maybe there's an opportunity on the, I don't know, credentialing and contracting team, and somebody says, hey, I've always wanted to learn that. So, you know, it can create new opportunities for your folks as well.
I just have a quick follow-up, if that's okay. How do you, so I think you're definitely way more future looking and more technologically advanced. How do you convince the rest of your org to adopt AI? I know there's a lot of people that are skeptical, there's doubts, but also some level of optimism. So I'm curious what you do to drive adoption.
I mean, I think our like success and buy-in has been because we haven't just jumped in head first. I mean, we've literally, I literally, the first part was write down all of the manual processes, day in, day out, redundant. How can we eliminate those? Let's work on those, right? And then you get into the more complex, like rules and logic builds. So that's kind of been our approach. But you know, if you're gonna make, if I'm making things easier on my team, I think it ultimately will make things easier on the clinical team. So finding ways to, again, not just on the RCM side, but to adopt this new technology on the clinical side, and to really show, I mean, just we see, I think our follow-up patients are about 28 patients a day, right? So if we can automate or use AI on the documentation side and some of the decision making, now that 28 days becomes, or 28 patients a day becomes 32. 4 more patients a day per provider, not causing them to spend any more time in the office. They can get out at the same amount of time. They actually can be more forward facing with their patients in the exam rooms, which is huge. But 4 more patients a day, multiply that, Kathy, by the number of your providers, that's a huge revenue uplift. I mean, it truly is. You know, you decrease your patient wait times, you increase revenue, you know, and your provider still, they can come and see patients and be out of there. So you just got to make sure you're looking for opportunities to improve efficiency in all aspects of the patient encounter. And honestly, it starts in the referral department. It truly does. How many of you guys get fax referrals? Yeah, automate that. You can automate that. You can get that to where it can automatically register, and then you turn your folks into, this is the opportunity with our sorry, I keep talking.
No, please.
So we automated the registration portion, and not all, like I said, we have 26 clinics, and 26 clinics do it 26 different ways. So we did a couple at a time, but the referral comes in, and now it's automated. It's automatically registered. So then what we did, take the opportunity, our referral clerks are now benefits verification folks. So now they can actually have, you know, meaningful discussions with the patients about their benefits, because honestly, patients don't know about their benefits. And when you're going out of network with major payers that represent about 8 to 10% of your patient population, you've got to have those benefit verification discussions. You truly do. We just take, you know, we take advantage of those type of opportunities, and to become more specialized and efficient.
I think we have time for 1 or 2 more questions. I think I saw a hand in the back earlier.
Was that the,
Oh, Jess.
you want me to sing?
Hi, January. So obviously staff can be uneasy when you talk about AI and job security. Do you foresee AI actually helping, or technology in general, actually helping with staff retention and making their day-to-day happier and in the long run, keeping that percentage of retention high?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if you can use AI and create your best workflow, best processes, right? And use AI and to do that, it almost becomes like error proof. Like it truly does. Now, I mean, you've got to be committed to this process of implementation. I mean, you truly do. You change one logic and maybe two others change. So you got to stay on top of that. But you honestly, you are creating an opportunity for your leaders in your departments to have the best team, right? The very best team, because it is truly going to be a replica or a duplication of themselves. And I don't know if your leaders sometimes bang their heads up against the wall, like, why did she do that? Why did we document this? What does that mean? So it's really, this wonderful opportunity, and you've got to be willing to source all of your team members. You truly do. I rely on my team members heavily. I'm just out here a pretty face. They do all the hard work. They're the reason for our success. That's again, I'm a people person. Your people are your product. Invest in them too. And AI is an investment in them, right? I mean, do you have folks that have been with you that are willing to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week? And now it's like, hey, you don't have to do that. Here's the solution. I'm going to give you what you've been working for over the last several years. So I'm truly looking forward to this partnership. This is very exciting for me. Like I said, if you asked me 2 years ago, I'd say I'm the old school RCM leader. We used to do it, old school, but I'm really looking forward to what it looks like tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate you dazzling us with your brilliance, and thanks for coming up and making that twice.